And now it's time for Time Handled with Prime Daniels.
This is Rick Coleman, Management Director of On Time Entity, and this episode of Time Handled with Prime Daniels is about 5-year plan.
All right, the 5-year plan. Fellas, how many of you have been dealing with a lady, and when you're talking to her, because you're going to talk about what you do for a living. Like when you first meet me, she's going to find a way to bring up, and ask you, where do you work? And after you let her know what it is you do with your job and occupation, some time goes by and then she says to you, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I'm going to tell you what that means. That means that what you're doing now simply isn't enough. She doesn't believe in it. It doesn't hold enough weight. It's not stable enough in her opinion. So she want to know, are you finna still be doing this bum week type of work in the next 5 years? Because that's going to be something that she put in her mental notes. Like, I have friends that play professional basketball across seas, right? These dudes are pulling in, I'm guessing, 12, 13 grand a month. When they meet a woman don't say to them after they find out that they play pro ball, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And a lot of my buddies, their careers will actually be over within the next 5 or 6 years. So that question is even more applicable for them. Point I'm making is the question ain't being asked of the inquiry of wanting to really know where will you see yourself in the next 5 years. They just want to know, is you finna be doing something different to be making some money? Because what you got going on now, there's no way that could be enough. I'm trying to figure it out. The reason that the dudes who play ball don't get asked that is because what they really want to know the answer to is already answered. They see that this guy is a pro ball player. He has money. So she already got that under sleep. She's not going to ask him that. And for the ones who's disagreeing with me, because I know it's a lot of y'all at home who, and I don't get that. Why so many people just want to disagree with what's really going on? That's another, I'm going to make that another topic one day. But for the ones who disagree with me, fellas, for all y'all that's watching this that are successful business owners, pro ball players, CEOs, I don't know, got a good pharmaceutical job, how many women that you've recently met, like if you're single, have asked you, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I guarantee they don't ask you that. They'll ask you if you say something about you trying to do a project on the side. They may ask you where that's going in the future, but it's not a specific question about where do you see yourself, because it's already established that you got money, you got paper.
What it is, Prime Daniels checking in on the interjection cam. As you see, we're touching on the 5-year plan. And again, to reiterate a few things from the video, just to be more clear, I do feel that it is a question that's asked when you are trying to see what type of enhancement or productivity will the individual have. Okay, again, I gave the example about a couple athletes, and sticking to that point, if someone tells you that they're a doctor or a teacher, you usually don't ask them where they may be in 5 years. Let's use myself for example. I did music at one point, and that was all I did. I didn't have a 9-to-5. I just had dreams and aspirations and what I felt talent. I had talent. With that though, people don't understand it, especially if there aren't things synonymously showing that. So like if I say I rap, right? If I'm not on the radio, if you don't see me on MTV, you gonna ask, so where do you see that in 5 years? And let's be clear, I don't think it's a negative thing. I don't think people are wrong for asking that question. You know, it's not like this is a bad, thing to ask. But I will say this, men don't ask women where they see themselves in 5 years. They don't. No matter what y'all tell us y'all do, it's just like, oh, that's what's up, that's what you do. We don't really ask that. And some people may be at home saying like, oh, it's such a common question. I ask people that all the time. No, you don't. That's not a common question. You don't ask people that all the time. Put it like this. Do you know where your mom is going to be in 5 years? If she's, if God willing, your mom is still existing. Do you ask your mother, like, especially for us, that's a good question, because a lot of us got parents that are like 50s, 60s, 70s, however old, and some of them probably are still employed. It's like, will they be retired in 5 years? Like, these are good questions to ask them, but y'all don't know. Tying into my point, you have no idea. When you see, say, your little cousin at a cookout, your little cousin who's 13, who in 5 years he'll be 18, an adult. You don't ask him where he's going to see himself in 5 years. And that'll actually probably be a good question for him, but you don't ask that. Tying into my point, you want to know if whatever it is they say they're doing is going to have more solidarity to it. Is it going to be a bit more solid? Because right now, again, for most of y'all, I feel when you ask that question, it's not solid enough. So you trying to see where's it going to go. And I don't think all women ask that question. again, I'm going off my own experiences, and out of 100% of the women that I've dealt with, I say I've been asked that by about 20% of them. And that question again came when I didn't have a 9 to 5, when I wasn't quote unquote employed, you know, so they wanted to ask that. And men don't ask women that question because men, we're usually the pursuers, and we don't want to do anything that can be like invading your space, impeding that space of yours in what could be considered a negative way. Sometimes when you ask that question, men may view it as a bad thing, like, oh my gosh, why she asked me this? And again, as a man, I'm telling you, I don't think it's a negative thing to ask. Anything you want to know, you should have liberty to ask in dealing with anybody. You know, as long as you like not out of line with it, as long as you're not disrespecting somebody, ask whatever you want. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, for men, I think when they hear the question, for some of them, especially if they don't have maybe a backup plan or something going on, or if they don't know where to really be in 5 years, it's an uncomfortable thing for them. You know what I'm saying? So they hear it and it's like, oh man, here we go. So for them, they're not gonna ask you that back because for reasons like, one, they may not care, or two, they probably just don't have the courage to really ask you that because it's like an intrusive type question. So think about, so a lot of you females who do like hair and eyebrows, which I admire, by the way, or who, if you're singing or acting, a guy's not gonna step to you and be like, so yeah, I mean, you in your 20s, where's that gonna be in 5 years? He's just gonna sit back and be like, oh, that's what's up. That's what you do. Shouts out to you. Okay, oh, so what you acting in? Oh, okay, where you do your hair? You down, you on 49? That's what's up. I'm probably come send my sister to check you out. They may even be supportive, but they're not gonna put that uncomfortable weight on you of kind of making you feel like, well, I ain't see you no billboard of you doing hair yet. Where you gonna be in 5 years? They not gonna do that. So again, that's what I'm doing when talking about. And again, just to be clear, I always say this in my videos. This is nothing negative about a woman or a man. This is just the breakdown of that question as I see it.
And if she asks you about the 5-year plan, I mean, if she don't like what you got going on or whatever, she's gonna ask you about it. And she may stick around. It doesn't mean she's gonna leave you. That doesn't mean that. But however, you got a strike against you. She already looking at you like, all right, boy, that's one in the hole. You got 2 more strikes and you out, like baseball. You know what I'm saying? So you better have something major to compensate. Your sex game better be A1. You better be real romantic with the little that you got. You better figure something out because, again, in her mind, you already low. I know y'all get asked this question a lot. And y'all probably don't even feel comfortable. You don't know why you don't feel comfortable about it, but I'm here telling you why you don't feel comfortable about it. Because she think what you got going on, it just ain't enough, my dude. My name's Prime Daniels, and that's been your time handle with me.
Thank you all for watching the show. We are very grateful. We have been getting more subscribers. Can you please remember to subscribe and like the video? Please watch all of them if you haven't seen them. This has been such an inspirational journey, so please subscribe and like, keep checking them out. God bless. And next week on Time Handled with Prime Daniels.
All right, loaning and borrowing money. You ever loan somebody some money and when they came to get it, they was the most upbeat, jolly person, and they were so God-fearing, and they were probably more trustworthy than your grandmother who attend church every single day because they needed to borrow it from you. But when it's time to give it back, I'm talking them spirits just totally turn. It's one of the wildest things you could possibly see.